When most of us put together the words rescue and dogs, we think about dogs that are trained to rescue humans. This is the story of a group of humans who specialize in rescuing dogs. When you look at an animal as adorable as a Yorkshire Terrier, it's hard to believe that it might need to be rescued someday. Yorkshires like these are the second most popular breed of dog in the United States. Unfortunately, not everyone who acquires one of these little beauties is capable of taking care of it. Mary Elizabeth Dugmore, president of Yorkshire Terrier National Rescue, explains.
For so many reasons, people move, they can't take a dog, they get divorced, they can't housebreak them, Yorkies get lost, Yorkies get medical expenses that their owners can't meet, and they turn them over to us to try to help them.
In fact, all these people are gathered here at the Sheraton Music City Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, specifically to help rescue Yorkshire Terriers. Besides the Yorkies they rescue, there are usually one or two or more that are members of their immediate family. And they bring them with them to this event. It's called the Yorkie Ball, and it ends each year with a dance. And people dance with their Yorkies. Mary Elizabeth tells how this canine-friendly organization got started and why the Yorkie Ball is important for the dogs and the people.
Actually, the Yorkshire Terrier Club of America called me up one day. I've been a member of that club since 1976, and they asked me if I would start a rescue for them. And I was surprised that Yorkies even needed to be rescued. But I said yes. I was very honored that they would ask me to do something like that. So I started it, and I built YorkieRescue.com on the internet, and immediately people started volunteering, and within a short period of time over 300 people were volunteering to help. And at that time the Yorkshire Terrier Club said, this is really bigger than we thought it was going to be, would you take it private? So we took it private and started our 501c3 and developed a board, and it's just when we hear about a Yorkie, somebody will notify me online that they have a Yorkie that they would like us to take, and I see what state they're in, and I usually direct it to the state director or closest person next to that dog, and they coordinate picking the dog up. We bring the dog into our rescue. We microchip the dog to YTNR, Yorkshire Terrier National Rescue, for life. And then the volunteer takes the dog to the vet. We have it checked for parasites, heartworm. We get their shots. We see if there's any other medical problems with the dog. And then we take its picture, we put it on the internet, and we look for a home for it. We evaluate its personality and see what home is going to be best suited to the dog. Just because somebody wants to adopt a dog doesn't mean that that dog is going to be the perfect fit for that family. And we always try to put the best interest of the dog first, so that we know that this time it's going to be a forever home and it's not going to be bounced around again. The Yorkie Ball started, the first one we had was in 2000, and we've had it annually since. We thought we were going to have it to say thank you to all the volunteers that do all the work across the country every year, and they come in. People come from all over the United States. Mostly we want to bring people here to get together so that we can meet them, they know us, we can have meetings and tell them what our guidelines are, We have the Smokey Awards that we give every year from July 1st until the end of June. Any dog that is adopted through our rescue can be nominated for a Smokey Award, which, you know, is an award that we developed in honor of Smokey, the first rescue, Bill Wynn's dog. And he was gracious enough to let us use the Smokey name.
This is Bill Wynn, teaching his new dog called Smokey 2, spelled T-O-O, a new trick. The original Smokey, who was rescued by Bill in New Guinea back during World War II, was an excellent example of how a dog can become a man's best friend.
Smokey was found in a New Guinea foxhole. My tent buddy was Ed Downey from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Downey's driving a Jeep along through the jungle, and all of a sudden the Jeep stops, and he's in the middle of no place. He turns around and he opens the hood of the Jeep and he starts wiggling the wires. Suddenly he heard a yapping off the side of the road, and when he looked, it was a little gold head trying to jump out of an abandoned foxhole. Downey takes it back to the motor pool and gives it to a Sergeant Dare, who was the motor pool sergeant. And, so he comes back to the tent and tells me this cute little dog that he found. I says, well, why don't you bring it over to me? You know I want a dog. He says, I don't want a dog in my tent. If she wouldn't have been rescued, she probably would have lasted maybe a day. The next day I was working in a photo trailer, and Dare came over to the trailer and banged on it and says, hey, Wynn, you want to buy that dog? I'll sell it to you for £2. I want to get back in a poker game. I went on a mission by myself. I didn't take her on the first flight. When the fellows in my tent heard about what happened, one of them said, hey, Wynn, if you get knocked off, I can have Smokey, can I? And I looked and I couldn't believe it. Another guy says, I want her. No, I want her. And I said, the heck with you guys, I'll take the dog with me. And I did. I took her on 12 flights after that. And we went up to Borneo in the Philippines. And if I went down, I said, she's going to go with me. But one of the few things, very few things that happened in World War II that was nice is the story of Smokey. The little dog that went to hospitals, and she became what they call the first therapy dog on record by Animal Planet's research. She became the dog that everybody loved because she was going through the war with them. She had so much in common that when we went to wards in the general hospital, or also the Navy hospital down in Brisbane, Australia, the guys in wheelchairs all wanted to carry her to the next ward. And it was really something to see because there was something special.
What was special, of course, was the relationship that people have with dogs. All dogs. Smokey came back to the United States with Bill and was a local TV star in Cleveland, Ohio. More than 60 years later, Bill is still helping rescue Yorkies.
I try to help out in my own area. It's very difficult. We have a hard time finding people who will take dogs as fosters. We don't have a chairman. I can't take any more than I have, and we have a restriction on the number of people that will take in dogs until they can be adopted. And but I have a great respect. I was one of the founders of this group, and I just love being around them, and they seem to like to be around me, and we have a lot of fun together.
A lot of fun indeed. In addition to some excellent information from animal experts on dog health.
Well, Yorkies in particular have a lot of health issues, whether they're from either a purebred breeder or a puppy mill situation. You know, being a small breed dog, they're predisposed to liver shunts. They get a lot of neurological problems. They get collapsed tracheas, hydrocephalus, which is a thing in their brain that can cause them to seizure. And that again can happen even with a purebred dog. It's something that's just part of being the breed. But if you're going to look for a Yorkie, probably the best thing to obviously do is go to a breeder, a reputable breeder, and try not to get a dog that's going to be a pound or two either, because the smaller the dog, the more congenital problems they're going to have throughout their lives.
Dog nutrition.
The most obvious immediate problems that pet owners may see when you feed improper diets, table food, table scraps, And a lot of times pet owners are not feeding scraps. They have a place at the table now, and so they're getting the same things that you or I are eating. Problem, though, is that just like with people, too much of anything can have a detrimental effect. And the most obvious first things you may see would be related to GI tract. They may have vomiting, they may have loose stool, diarrhea. But many times the problems with improper nutrition are seen over a long period of time. And so if they eat something that's not really good for them once or twice, and that's it, it's probably not going to be a problem. It's when you have improper nutrition over a prolonged period of time that those problems slowly begin to accumulate and cause issues. For instance, if you have a pet that is taking in too many calories, the fact that it ate too much today doesn't mean it's suddenly going to be grossly overweight. Just like in people, usually that weight gain is going to occur over an extended period of time. And so oftentimes the negative health consequences are not seen immediately by the pet owner, so out of sight, out of mind. In fact, over time, if they look back where their pet was and they realize, hey, my pet's gained, 3 or 4 pounds, well, the equivalent might be you or I gaining 20 or 30 pounds. And so it can have a very negative health effect.
Dog grooming.
And the first thing you want to do is you want to bathe your dog, dry it, and brush it out. Make sure that the dog is mat-free. You want to start with a mat-free dog. And once all that's done, first thing you want to do is clip the toenails. Bring the back foot up. And start just taking a little bit off at a time.
There are Yorkie costume contests. And, of course, the Yorkie Ball. A dinner with live music. All to rescue members of what might just be the cutest breed of dogs on earth, the noble Yorkshire Terrier.